Hey y'all, my name's Chris. I'm a local pastor in the upstate of South Carolina, and I wanted to share a little bit of my journey with Be the Bridge. So I've been in a community leaders cohort group for about 6 months now, and we still have a little ways to go, and it's been a great experience. I've born and raised right here in the upstate of South Carolina, and it was not uncommon at all, and the people around me in the community, family, friends, to use racial slurs or to see like Confederate flags all over the place. That's kind of the environment I grew up in. And also a lot of African-American people in the community who I would consider myself friends with. I would never have considered myself to have an issue with racism or prejudice or anything like that. But one day, my wife suggested that my family and I start to have a reading time with our kids. So every night we would start reading a book. And I had had this book sitting on my shelf for about 4 years. Someone had given me Be the Bridge, Latasha's first book, and it had been sitting on my shelf. And so I thought, I need to read that. And so I began to read it. And what I noticed that in my mind, I would start arguing with Latasha in the points that she was making. And so she would give all this great information with great sources and all these things, and just sharing her experience and the experience of so many others. And in my mind, I'm arguing with her. And I just felt a conviction from the Lord that I needed to just listen, that I needed to let it be true, the things that she was saying, and not try to justify it or explain it away. And so as I did that, I continued reading the book, and I finished the book, and I found myself just being hungry for more. And I felt like scales had been taken off my eyes, and I could see things that I could not see before. And I started to be bothered by things that I really hadn't even noticed before. And so I reached out to some of the Be the Bridge folks that I had seen in the book and asked about groups that might be taking place. And so that's how I got involved into a group. And I can tell you that what this experience has been like for me is it has grown my compassion for other people's story. And just like when I was arguing with Latasha in my head, I've now begun to take that practice in my everyday life and in ministry, and just letting it be true. The things that I hear from other people, or I may hear people talking to one another, where before I might be bothered by it if they were saying something I didn't agree with, or I might not agree, and so I explain it away in my head or justify it in some way. I've now stepped into this space after reading the book and spending time in this group to just hear their story and be a good listener, and let what they're saying be true without me having to justify or explain away. And just by simply doing that, it has grown my compassion for the Black community, for the Hispanic community, for the Native American community, and in a very strange way, the white community. And what I mean by that is, in the white community, there's a lot of ignorance, and ignorance is different than stupidity. And so that's been a big part of my heart, is to speak to my family. I actually just this past weekend gave the Be the Bridge book that got me started to my father and asked him to read it. So I'm excited to see what comes from that. If there's any advice I could give you is A, get involved, jump into a group, into discussions. Don't be afraid. Just be honest and compassionate towards the other person. Be a good listener as they're talking. But more than anything, just let it be true. Let what they're saying be true, and don't try to explain away or justify it. Let the purpose of your listening be to know the other person better.